Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, find out which Iowa politician is headed to D.C. and why.
And later, an update on the IMU's construction status.
The replacement of the roof was to fix the masonry walls and the parapets so that the roof ends up being weathertight.
And we'll have your recap from the Iowa women's soccer team's matchup with Nebraska from last night.
And a little bit of a reflection with the Iowa field hockey team as they near the end of the season.
Will weather be warm again or cold as October is heading to an end? I'll tell you more in weather.
All that and more coming right up.
Stay right there. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Christopher Cervantes.
And I'm Sydney Zatz. Iowa State Governor Kim Reynolds is headed to Washington, D.C. next week to lobby for renewable energy changes. Yesterday morning, Governor Reynolds had what she called a constructive and productive phone call with President Trump and EPA Director Scott Pruitt. Governor Reynolds is pushing to preserve the federal program that requires renewable fuels are blended into gasoline and diesel. This push comes from EPA Director Scott Pruitt's attempt to lower the use of renewable fuels, which would adversely affect Iowa farmers. A set date for Reynolds' visit to D.C. has not yet been determined.
The Iowa City Council has passed an ordinance prohibiting the use of tobacco in all Iowa City parks. The ordinance restricts all tobacco in parks unless it is being used in one's personal vehicle. Banned products include smoking tobacco, chewing tobacco, and e-cigarettes. City Council say that this is one step in their goal of increased air quality control. The City Council proposed this ordinance months back and has been amending it since mid-September. The vote on this decision was 6-1, and this ruling will take effect immediately.
There's been construction at the Iowa Memorial Union since last winter. If you're like myself, you're probably wondering when will it end. Daily Iowan TV reporter Lauren Varell has more.
Construction on the Iowa Memorial Union began in the winter to replace 80% of the roof that has not been updated for 25 years.
The replacement of the roof was to fix the masonry walls and the parapets so that the roof ends up being weathertight.
The roof on the IMU has been in multiple reports and maintenance requirements that it was in need of updating. The project was able to start due to the 2008 flood repairs not being involved in the project.
One of the things that we can't do right now is we can't go in and touch the flood work that we've been doing, and so now this project is able to be done since we're not touching any of the things that were repaired from the 2008 flood.
The project is on schedule and is estimated to be completed at the end of October or late November. The University of Iowa Facilities Management has not received any complaints regarding the construction. However, students have expressed frustrations.
I go to the IMU like most days after school, and with all the construction there's always like a new fence every day, and it like gets in the way of the bike racks, and it's just kind of like an inconvenience for the people that are trying to get in and out of the building during the day.
It is said that once this project is complete, the roof should last another 25 years. Reporting from the Iowa Memorial Union, this is Lauren Varell, Daily Iowan TV.
Last night at the Latino and Native American Cultural Center, UI students put on an art exhibit titled, "What Were You Wearing?" The exhibit showed a wide range of clothing items in response to the widespread myth that sexual assaults are caused by victims' outfits. The clothes were hung on display and had a sheet of paper with a brief description of their experience. The clothes were not actually those worn during the time of their assaults. Instead, they were used to represent their stories and show that sexual assault can happen to anyone, regardless of what one wears. The event was put on by students in partnership with RVAP, the UI's Rape Victim Advocacy Program. You can read more about the event on the front page of today's paper, where Daily Iowan reporter Rihanna Chickering goes into more depth.
Yesterday afternoon, the Iowa Board of Regents held a closed session to interview the next possible executive director. Current board member Mark Brong is the sole finalist in becoming the next executive director. Before working for the board, Brong worked in the University of Iowa's State Relations Office. He was chief of staff for former UI President Sally Mason and later served as Mason's vice president. The Board of Regents meeting agenda shows that the next executive director will be announced sometime today. You know, Chris, we've been seeing that fall weather, but at the same time, yesterday it was nearly 70 degrees, and I just don't know, can I put the flip-flops away yet?
I honestly don't know, Sydney. It's been very temperamental right now, and I honestly can't predict what's going to happen, but luckily for you guys, I know someone who can. Let's toss it over to Junya Kim in the weather studio to see what he has to say.
Thanks, guys. Fortunately, again, the temperatures have risen to above 70 degrees, and skies are shining us with bright sun today. We are looking at clear sunny skies with the temps reaching high of 72 and low 57. Tomorrow morning will be sunny, but a little bit chilly as the temps falls to 53. Now let's take a look at our extended forecast. On Friday, we will have warm and sunny skies with the temps reaching high of 77 and low of 60. On Saturday, we will have partly cloudy skies early, and these clouds will develop to scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon with temps reaching a high of 73 and low of 53. The temps will begin to fall from Sunday to below 70 degrees. We will have cloudy skies on Sunday and mostly sunny skies on Monday. Temperature range on these 2 days is between low 40s and mid 60s. And on Tuesday, we will have partly cloudy skies with gusty winds that are between 20 to 30 miles per hour. This week will be the last week of the year to feel temps above 70, so enjoy these temps for the week, Iowa City. Chris and Sydney, back to you.
Yesterday was the start of a 3-day-long We Are Phil campaign, sponsored by the College of Education to bring awareness of how philanthropic programs help support the University of Iowa. The campaign kicked off yesterday with a College of Education faculty and staff afternoon tailgate, where Brian Douglas explains more about the role of We Are Phil here on campus.
What we're doing is trying to raise awareness of philanthropy on campus. And I happen to work at the Bell and Blight Center, which is a center within the College of Education that literally wouldn't exist without philanthropy. Our founding donors donated the money to start this center, and that was 30 years ago, and we're still going strong today. So philanthropy does have a very positive effect. It's very important on campus, and that's why we're doing these events, just trying to raise awareness of what philanthropy can do and all the positive effects that people can make.
Today, there will be a lunch and learn at 12 p.m. in the Jones Commons of the Linguistics Center to hear about the variety of programs here at the University of Iowa. Sydney, it's always great to see Hawkeyes working to better themselves and their futures, but I know for certain there's one Hawkeye in the athletic department that's going to have a very good future pretty soon.
That's right, Chris. And since we'll be talking about football, why don't we throw it over to Taylor and Natalie in the sports studio. Taylor and Natalie, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I know that we are so excited about football being halfway through and curious to see how they'll continue to do with the rest of the season.
Yeah, Taylor, I'm excited to see how they're going to play against Northwestern this weekend. But let's look into Josie Jewell and see how he's been doing.
Yesterday, Iowa's Josie Jewell was named as a quarterfinalist for the Lott Impact Trophy by the Pacific Club Impact Foundation, which is responsible for honoring the nation's top defensive impact player at the end of the season. Along with that honor, Jewell was also named to the mid-season first-team All-American list by as many as 5 major outlets.
Jewell leads the Big Ten and is ranked 7th nationally with 70 total tackles. Semifinalists for the Lott Impact Trophy will be announced on November 8th. Stick with Daily Iowan TV Sports for Josie's progress.
The Iowa women's soccer team had to play Nebraska last night in a rare midweek game after the Hawks' original matchup with the Huskers in September was postponed.
It was back and forth matchup with Nebraska. 18 total shots on goal compared to Iowa's 5. But despite that, both teams ended regulation tied at 0.
In overtime, the Hawks kicked it up and started taking control on the offensive side of the ball. However, they could not convert the game, and the game went into a second overtime, but still ended in a 0-0 tie.
The Hawkeyes will be back in action against Wisconsin Saturday for their last home game of the year, and then they will end their regular season on the road at Illinois next Wednesday. Iowa currently sits at 9th in the Big Ten, so they're hoping to see a few wins to receive a berth in the Big Ten tournament.
The Iowa women's tennis team is now 2 invites into their season, and there are some new faces on the team making an impact on the court. Daily Iowan TV's Casey Lindkratz has the story.
Iowa women's tennis welcomes 3 freshmen to the team and hopes they improve as they go into a tough tournament season.
Daniel Bowers, Yufei Long, and Daniel Burrich are the newest additions to the Hawkeye women's tennis team this fall, and they are performing well to start the year. Bowers is from Alpharetta, Georgia, and throughout her high school career, she placed highly in many competitions. Long, a native of Shenzhen, China, came to the Hawkeyes with a 291 ranking from the International Tennis Federation and 2 wins over top 125 players. Last but not least, Burrich, a 2-time state champion and winner of multiple competitions during her high school career in Bradenton, Florida. Being a freshman can be difficult. The city is unfamiliar, classroom locations are confusing at times, and it can be challenging to manage time well. Add in being on an athletic team, and it can appear downright terrifying. Oftentimes, the help with this transition is found on the team.
I think Zoe's been a really good leader. She's constantly texting us and making sure we're doing well with the transition. I hang out with her a lot on the weekends, and we go to dinner sometimes, as a team.
The other big difficulty freshmen face coming into the college arena is a higher level of play. Bowers and Long discuss strategies they use to prepare for various competition.
As a team, we've come up with power words, and we look at them before every match or practice.
Fight through every match and then perform the best for myself.
Freshmen look to bond as they head into their spring season. Reporting from Klotz Outdoor Tennis Courts, this is Casey Lindekrantz, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
They are back in action today at the ITA Central Regionals in Lawrence, Kansas today through Sunday.
As the Iowa field hockey team season is winding down, the Hawks took a step back and reflected on how their season has gone so far.
After this weekend, the Hawks are 5-10 with only 1 Big Ten win. Here's what the team had to say yesterday about how they view the season.
Like to be a bit higher up in the Big Ten standings. I think we're in a very tricky situation where if this weekend doesn't go to plan, we could end up in the 8th, 9th playoff to play that playout game, or we could end up joint 5th, I think. So it's definitely not somewhere where we wanted to be. We wanted to finish in the top 4 to be able to have that home game advantage.
We're just unsure how we're playing, and we haven't found our why almost. But I think now that our team's growing together and we're kind of building as a unit, and we're playing more for each other, that will help us this weekend, definitely.
I think not necessarily where we expected to be, but I don't think we're in the worst position. I think that we definitely can bring a lot more, and I think that that's something that we have to do in order to keep our expectations kind of at that higher level and what we want.
We definitely, knew we had a younger team and, that we have a very, very hard schedule, but we really thought that, we'd be record-wise anyway, just in a little bit different spot. Our goal was to finish in the top 4 so we could host the first round of the Big Ten tournament, and we had some games not go our way. So the great thing is, we still have a lot of hockey left to play, and we have a chance to finish as high as 5th or as low as 8th, okay? So the next 2 games are going to be really important to determine that seeding.
Nothing's set in stone yet, so a few wins this weekend can really do us the world of good, and then the future's in our hands.
The Hawks will travel to East Lansing this Friday to take on the Michigan State Spartans and will host the Ohio State Buckeyes at home on Sunday. And they will have to get at least 1 win this weekend, or else they might not even qualify for the Big Ten tournament, which is set to kick off on October 28th.
Tune in tomorrow to watch Mary-Kate Harrion and Zach Mackey break down Iowa's matchup with Northwestern.
And they'll give you their predictions for the game. Guys, back to you.
All right, everyone, that brings this Thursday morning broadcast to an end. Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news between Monday and Friday. Also, don't forget to pick up a print version of the Daily Iowan on Sands Now. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Sydney Zatz.
And I'm Christopher Cervantes. Have a wonderful day, Iowa City. We'll catch you back here tomorrow.